Hello everyone, welcome to the Hypergamous Journey, and I have another video for you. The title was so long and what I wanted to talk about, so I have to read it because I took some notes. I would like to talk about, this came up in the social I had on July 19th, 2025. Which was earlier today. So this came up, getting what you want versus wanting what you get. Okay? I repeat, getting what you want versus wanting what you get. I will repeat one more time. Getting what you want versus wanting what you get. There's a big difference. So the ladies agreed with me at the social that dating is about strategy. And it's not manipulative strategy, it's just strategy. Like when you open a business or you start a business, you should have some idea about the strategy that you're going to use to gain clients, right? Dating is no different. And especially at this mature age. Especially, at this mature age, dating is strategy. And if you have a daughter who wants to marry and who's out here dating in these streets, you got to tell her. And you know, I don't know how to talk to young adults because they think they know everything. Young adults in their 20s, they think they know everything, and when they're 30, in their 30s, they think they know everything too. And they look at you as their mother and say, well, look at the mistakes that you made. Who are you to tell me about dating and marriage because you couldn't stay with dad, or you divorced your second, third husband, or your first husband who wasn't their father, or maybe he was their father. So, you know, they may not say it, but they're looking at you like that. Just like my married friends or people, or my friends who have been married, look at me and say, well, who are you to talk about, you know, marriage and dating? Well, I can talk about dating because I've been doing it all my life and adjusting to various things along the way. You know, the changes in the dating landscape. So I can talk about dating, but I can't talk too much about marriage until I get married. And then there's only a certain stage of marriage I can really talk about, like the newlywed stage. And then it will go on year 1, year 2, 3. And then I can talk about those stages of marriage. But I can talk about dating because that's what I've been doing all of my life, is dating. That's all I've been doing, is dating all of my life. So getting what you want versus wanting what you get. So let's talk about the negative. So the second half of this topic is wanting what you get. We all come into relationships with expectations, men and women. And as you get to know the man, you have certain things that you want. And you are thinking about, can this man provide me with what I want and what I'm looking for? And then you have to ask yourself, is what I want and what I'm looking for realistic? Realistic. We're aging. I'm 64. So the things physically that I'm looking for are different from what I was looking for when I was in my 30s, 40s, and 50s. I was looking for, looks was high on the list. Looks. He didn't have to have a six-pack or be muscular or whatever, but if he was, that was nice. But looks was at the top of the list. Then how he treated me, and so on and so forth. But looks was number one. I wanted some cute babies. Well, I'm childless, or child-free as they say today. So looks are not that important. But what is important, and at the top of the list, is how he treats me, how I feel when I'm in his presence, or as we date and get to know each other. And what's the other thing? How he treats me, how he makes me feel, and if he has the same values as I do. And is he open-minded, growth-oriented? Because I'm open-minded and growth-oriented. So we all have these expectations. And so we're dating with getting what we want as women. And men are dating getting what they want. And a lot of men in our age group, all they want to do is date and have intimate relations. They don't want to commit to anyone. Not all men, but most of them, because in this age group, they've been married, been there, done that. They're not interested in doing it again. They will live with someone, but they don't want to marry them. And there are women who feel the same way. They don't want to remarry, but they'll live with someone. And then there are women who don't want to live with anyone, who want a committed relationship, but they don't want to marry anybody, and they don't want to cohabitate. Cool. So those are the three things that people are looking for. I want marriage. I've never been married. I want that. I know I will feel more secure in a committed relationship. He got me. I am not fooled that he will not cheat because he's married. I'm not even thinking about, that. I think I missed my stop. I got to go back that way, but I'm gonna see how I can make it this way. Going this way, and I can always pull out my GPS. But anyway, or maybe I'll just turn around, it'll probably be better. But anyway, so getting what you want requires a strategy, and it's not being manipulative. It's knowing what you want and not dating men who are not in alignment with what you want. Now, at the social, we talked about telling them up front that you want marriage, not telling them up front you want marriage. I've done it both ways, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Just do what you're comfortable doing, and you can experiment either way or not. But yeah, I've done it both ways. I've done it both ways where I've said what I wanted, and I've done it the other way where I didn't say what I wanted and just said, I'm just looking to have fun and see what happens and see how it goes and all of that foolishness. And not really foolishness, but I'm just saying I've done it both ways, and it just depends on the man. You can experiment and do it both ways, or you can just stick to one way and say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm asking for, and that's that. So lately, I've just been saying what I want, because what have I got to lose? The man that's for me is for me. That's the way I feel about it. So getting what you want, you have your strategy, and you say, I'm looking for marriage, or I'm looking, for a committed relationship that doesn't lead to marriage, but monogamy, and we caring about each other and being there for each other. Whatever verbiage you want to say is fine with me. And then you vet based on how he treats you. I am a big advocate of not having sex with these men. Definitely not before 6 months, but I really believe that you just need to save it for marriage or for your mated relationship. And when you mate, make him get you a ring. Well, you can't make anybody do anything, but that's one of the things you negotiate. I want a ring. It doesn't mean that I want you to marry me, but it means that we're in a committed relationship. And it puts respect on your relationship, because when you walk into a room together, when men and women see the ring on your left hand, on the ring finger on your left hand, they're like, oh, okay, they're together, like really together. And it's none of their business if you're mated or married, but just socially, it's more acceptable. So that's what I recommend. Make it official by him getting you a ring and you wearing it on your left hand, and you can still be in your mated relationship with no paperwork and no marriage. I digress. So getting what you want, it requires the strategy like you do when you open a business. You have a business plan that basically says, you know, these are the things that I'm going to do to get clients. This is how I'm going to market to them. These are the characteristics that my ideal clients have. This is the product that I've made for them because these are the benefits of my product for them. It's the same thing with dating. These are the benefits that I bring. I don't recommend, I can't remember which way I'm supposed to go. I think this way. If I was that way. Where am I going? I'm confused. Oh well. I might have to make another turn. So, this is what I am bringing to the relationship. And this is what I expect him to bring. I talked about being at the same financial level. So getting what you want requires strategy. And it's not manipulative strategy. It's just knowing what your boundaries are, what you're looking for, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. The same thing that men do. We all do it. It just becomes a negative thing when women do it. And it becomes even more negative when mature women do it, because most people think, and our friends and our family too, and our children think that, you know, well, Dad, you 64, about to be 65. What the heck are you talking about? Talking about standards and bringing things to the table and what you want and what you expect. What are you talking about? You old. You got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. And you know what I say to all of that foolishness. To H-E, double L with you. Yeah, my face. That's what I say. So, yeah, so that's what I say. And so the other half of the topic is wanting what you get. People don't accept less than what you want. That's all I can say about that. So if he's not putting you first in the relationship, if he's not putting you first in the relationship, if he is making you a lower priority, if he's making you a lower priority, he doesn't take you out and spend quality time with you, he doesn't call often, he doesn't act like he's in a committed relationship with you, and you're just accepting it, fussing with him about what he's not doing and all of that, you're just wanting what you're getting. You are wanting what you're getting. You are wanting what you're getting. And you can say to yourself, no, I'm not wanting what I'm getting. Yes, you are, because you're putting up with it. You're tolerating it. So you're wanting what you're getting versus getting what you want. You want what you're getting when you don't have a plan. When you're dating any and everybody who asks you, where you don't have a baseline. Where you don't have a baseline. I remember maybe 2 years ago now, my cousin introduced me to a guy that she had met, his uncle, this man's uncle. I think I went on 3 dates with him, and I discovered that he's an alcoholic. He smelled like an alcoholic. You know, I don't know if you know that smell. It's a smell that the the alcohol is reeking from their pores. So they will shower, clean clothes, good hygiene, and they're reeking of alcohol. They haven't had a drink or anything, but it's in their system, it's in their bloodstream, it's coming out of their pores. So he was like that. And my cousin was and I told her, I said, he's an alcoholic, and my cousin was making up reasons why I should continue to see him. I was like, girl, I'm not gonna do that. I went on 3 dates with him. I went to like a high school reunion kind of gathering thing at a restaurant for him, and he left me at the table to go talk to some woman who had come to the reunion with her man. So he left me at the table. He didn't say, I'll be back, or I'm going over here to talk to her and say hi. We went to school together or anything. And she was younger. She was about 10, 15 years younger. So I don't even know if he went to school with her, but maybe he worked with her or something. And he left me at the table to go talk to her. When he came back, I was gone. I had packed my stuff and left. Because that was the second time him going somewhere. Like, he left me at the table with his classmates and didn't say he was going to the pool room to shoot some pool. He just got up and he left. And he went in the direction of the restroom. So I thought he had gone to the restroom. But he didn't say anything. He didn't say, I'm going to the restroom, I'll be back, or anything. He just got up from the table, walked in the direction of the restroom. And I didn't see him anymore for about 30 minutes. And when he came back, I was like, where were you? And he said, I played a game of pool and whatever. I said, please don't leave me here without letting me know where you're going. I don't know these people. They're your friends. He was like, okay. He left again and walked over to the table to talk to the woman when her date, or I think that was her man, when her man left the table to order them something to drink, eat, or whatever. He walked over there when the man left the table. Now, I know he did that deliberately in terms of timing, because prior to that, he was sitting next to me. And we were sitting at our table such that we could look out to where their table was. So I know that he was just waiting for an opportunity for the man to leave the table, for him to bounce his little skinny butt right on over there and talk to her. So when he came back, I was gone. I went to the restroom because I needed to do that before I got on the road, and I politely walked past the table and everybody, and I left. He called me up and asked me why did I leave, and I told him, and I didn't see him anymore. But that was practice. I considered it practice. And so you don't really know what these guys are up to, but if I had tolerated that behavior, I would be wanting what I get. I would be wanting what I get because I'm tolerating it, I'm accepting the behavior. And, we had a discussion about it. Well, you could have said this, and you could have said you were leaving before you left, and all of that. I said, when I told you to tell me to let me know that you were leaving the table and where you were going and who I was with you, and I didn't know these people, and you did it again, what was else there to talk about and say? There was nothing else to talk about and say. You did it twice within an hour or hour and a half. So yeah, I'm out of there. So just keep this in mind. If you getting what you want requires strategy, dating strategy. It requires a bigger vision and a bigger picture view than what you're doing at the moment with your date. And if you are in a going on more than 3 dates, I recommend more than 3 dates when it comes to dating. 3 dates at least before you count the guy out and he's not right for you and you're not feeling him and all of this. 3 dates. Getting Getting what you want requires strategy, and you might have to write it down. You might have to write it down. On the first date, there's no hugging and no physical touching or whatever, you know, just a hearty, you know, very grateful thank you. It was nice meeting you, and that's it. And on the second date, it's, you know, you might shake hands. On the third date, you might shake hands again. On the fourth date, you might give a hug. You know, even if it requires writing down what the steps are before you make physical contact, you get the picture. So that's getting what you want versus wanting what you get. You're just accepting whatever. You're accepting whatever. And then you're creating reasons and excuses in your mind for why you're staying, why you're accepting whatever they're doing. You're creating excuses. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.